Welcome to Around Town, and we are delighted to welcome back Pastor James Gaillard and Bishop Shelton Daniel, Greater Joy and Word Tabernacle. And it is always a pleasure to hear. Y'all are so busy and active and doing great things for our community, and it's always a pleasure to have you come and kind of update us as a community for what's going on. Trunk or treat. Bishop Daniel, you really like to help kids be safe in every aspect for Halloween, and so tell us what Greater Joy is going to be doing for Trunk or Treat.
Well, you know, it's been an experience of mine, and just because I've been around church most of my life, that, you know, we've tried our best as the Christian community to rid ourselves of Halloween, but it's just not possible. You know, it's not going to happen. So instead of us fighting against ridding ourselves, we're trying to create an environment to make sure the children are safe. Mm-hmm. And so rather than have Halloween festivities, we do something similar. The whole idea is they're out trick-or-treating, getting candy, so we're providing an environment for all children to just come, and we're going to treat them with all kinds of treats all night, along with games and other functions to just keep them safe. We're just trying to keep them off the streets. Mm-hmm. There's just so many things happening. So this is the idea that we came up with, and we're going to have it right here at Anderson Street to try and deter some of that possible activity that could be out on that night.
Well, and not only might there be something amiss with the candy that's given to them, but also it's just not safe for kids to be out in the evening going door to door.
Absolutely. And I think, you know, some of the things that Pastor Gaillard and I have been working in tandem with is just trying to figure out all the ways that we can to provide the things that our youth would love to do, but, you know, in a safe environment where we mm-hmm. control. In these environments, we control what happens. Mm-hmm. And so that's kind of what we're trying to do, bring them into a safe environment. The things that we give out will be safe, and the personnel will be here to guard them. We have also have security involved, so we know that we'll have a good environment for them on that night.
Well, you mentioned you'll be doing it at Greater Joy on Anderson Street. We saw in the newspaper recently that you are moving into the former Word Tabernacle on Nashville Road.
Wow.
So are you keeping both of them, both facilities?
We are. This facility, and our plan is, in our partnership with Word Tabernacle, is that we do as much community development for this area mm-hmm. out of the Anderson Street facility. So we will still continue our food bank and clothing and all of the other activities we do for the community out of the Anderson Street location.
And daycare you do after you
Daycare and after school is here, and it will remain here. At this point, it'll remain here for a while. We're just excited about all this going on as we are under construction at the 820 Nashville Road site. There's a lot going on. We're about 7 days out from, we will move in on the 4th Sunday. So we're
the 26th.
Yes, ma'am. Just busy as bees over there. I'm looking for this to be done and over. It's been a task. Exciting, but it's a lot going on.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. And just before we leave that, because a lot of empathy there about ready for this to be over from Pastor Gaillard, but you're going to have your church is going to physically march from Anderson Street up to your new church home. On the that Sunday morning, we will leave the Anderson Street location in a parade, and we're going to march. The mothers of our church will cut the ribbon on the 820 Nashville Road location, and we're going to have one big celebration. It's great in a lot of ways. Not only that we are moving to a great location that has had great history, and they have done a great job in that facility, but wow, to go from 3 or 4 services a Sunday down to we're not sure exactly what is going to be exciting. Just rest for everyone, if nothing else. So yeah, we're going to leave you at 8:30, march there, and we'll have one celebration service at 9 o'clock on that Sunday. Wow.
Yeah.
You can't wait.
Can't wait. We're looking forward to it.
And Pastor Gaillard, I know you can relate to multiple services every Sunday, and right now you are meeting at Rocky Mount Senior High.
Yeah, we're meeting at Rocky Mount High School in the gymnasium. It went phenomenally well. We set up about 1,050 chairs, and we did just 2 services, 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. We were very, very close to capacity at both of them.
Great.
And so we'll have to see. I'm hoping we'll be able to maintain it to 2 services. But the school system's been great. We literally brought in a production service company and put in state-of-the-art staging and sound, and audio, video, lighting. So it was a phenomenal worship. We didn't want our people to miss anything, and we didn't want them to feel like they were coming to gymnasium. We wanted them to feel like they were coming to church. And so most of them said that's what they felt like. So we had great services. We had 7 new decisions in the gymnasium, so it was great. So it's been a great setup for us. We'll probably be there anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks. And so I'm trying to under promise and over deliver if I can. And so we're telling them the last Sunday in November, which I believe is November 30th, as our last Sunday. So the first Sunday in December, we're in our new location. But I'm hoping that 5th Sunday in November will already be gone. But we'll just have to see how construction works out and everything like that.
And your community-wide Bible study, where is that being held?
Yeah, our citywide community Bible study is at Church on the Rise. And I just really want to thank Richard Gerganis and the Church on the Rise. In addition, we were given offers by many, many churches in the community for us to bring our Bible study there. And so we only settled on Church on the Rise because they had the additional space. We needed 5 more rooms for our middle school, high school, Awanas program, our youth and children's ministry. And so they were able to accommodate us for that. So we'll be there for that same duration of time, right behind Wesleyan College, right next to Rocky Mount Prep. Same times, 12 noon and 6:45 p.m. And people are finding their way to us. And so we're just continuing what we're doing. I was teaching the book of Acts. I'm still in the book of Acts.
Chapter 11.
Chapter
I was
11,
there.
right.
Right. And it was wonderful. I mean, that's a beautiful facility,
really
as you said, and to be graciously welcomed there. It is not, unfortunately, available on the internet right now, though, is it?
It is not. We've lost our online community temporarily. We are actively working every week to get it back up. It's just a lot of infrastructure that goes into that kind of ability. And when you move out of one facility and then you're kind of reestablishing yourself in a second, it's not as easy to recreate that infrastructure, especially when you're in temporary space. And so we will, the very, very first Sunday we're in our new location, our new church home, we will be live streamed for certain. But we're hoping that we can get it to happen in the high school and at Church on the Rise over the next couple of weeks.
I think it'd be interesting to people to know how broad, because here we are in Rocky Mount, and I was absolutely astounded when you shared how many people in what geographic area are watching your service in Rocky Mount.
It's really phenomenal, Gene, because we have 3 or 4 foreign countries that actively tune in. That's because of military personnel, people that are some kind of way connected with our ministry, and then they go overseas. Probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 or 12 states. And our online community is literally hundreds and hundreds of people. We do military installations, we do college campuses and campus crusades where they do their small group Bible studies using our material, prison systems. And so we really have tried to institutionalize the word and to get it out into institutions that normally don't have that kind of teaching available to them. And so it's gone very, very well. And we just want people to just hang in there with us until we're able to make that turn. And the interesting thing also is that it kind of parallels to our ministry. One of the great aspects of the partnership between Word Tabernacle and Greater Joy is that we started off a small little community-based church, literally just ringing doorbells. We had very few cars parked in our parking lot 9 years ago. Over 9 years, we become a regional church. And so many people assume we're just kind of limited to Rocky Mount, and we're not. We have an active membership in 74 zip codes and 10 North Carolina counties. So people travel literally all over Eastern North Carolina to come to Rocky Mount, to come to our ministry. So the new location really lends itself to that footprint, if you will. And then because so much of Greater Joy's ministry is so solidly and strongly community-based, it just works for them to be in a more strategic location, I would say, in the heart of the community. So it kind of works for both of us.
Well, and hopefully everybody knows, but Home Depot, if they
Right.
haven't seen your signs, that's right there at the intersection of 301 and 64. And Bishop Daniel, I think it was, if you'll kind of play off that, how important it is for you to stay in the location kind of more near your home base.
It was a strategic plan between the two of us we recognize, and I do recognize, Word Tabernacle as more of a global type ministry, and I know what my call is, which is community. And so Pastor Gallion and I have had tons of conversations about which way we would make this thing work for both churches. So we made a conscious decision that Greater Joy would remain in the community and work with Word Tabernacle and continue the efforts of community work. And so it is exciting for me because I know that my call is in community work in the local church. So whereas he considers himself more the global type pastor, I consider myself to be the community pastor. So that's kind of where it kind of works out for us, and we work off of each other. Now we have pieces of our ministries that operate on both sides, so we have to stay connected and bounce it off of each other, but we really are clear about what we're supposed to be doing.
I know y'all stay connected. I mean, I was talking to Pastor Galliard after Bible study, and I said, where do you want to meet for this interview? And he said, oh, look, Bishop Daniel's texting me right now. So we're going to take a break. When we come back, actually, you went, Pastor Galliard, into Charlotte in late September to follow up with the Christian Community Development, a national organization. Noel, I can't remember his last name,
Castellanos, came
to Rocky Mount, to the Gateway Convention Center. But I want to talk about what's going on to help with community development and exactly how the community, what we can look forward to, and how we can get more involved to support what you're doing.
Okay, great.
We'll be right back.
Are you just starting out on your own and want to be independent? Do you have a family and need a bigger home? Are the kids moving out? And are you downsizing? First Carolina Realty can help. A 1 or 2 bedroom apartment or house for those starting out. A 3 or 4 bedroom home for a growing family. Rentals, sales, new homes, pre-owned homes, investment property in the city or in the country. Call First Carolina Realty. Now is a good time to make that move. Real estate prices are right, interest rates are low, and there is a fantastic selection of homes available.
First Carolina Realty is a fully licensed real estate firm with offices at 3151 Zebulon Road in Rocky Mount.
If you have rental properties and are tired of the headaches associated with managing them yourself, or if you're looking for a new management team to manage your rental properties, call First Carolina Realty at 252-985-2321. Visit our webpage at firstcarolinarealty.com. We will gladly help you with all your real estate needs.
Hi, I'm Jean Almond of Almond's Drugs, and I want to invite you to be Almond's customer for your prescriptions. Our average pharmacy wait for your prescription is only 10 to 15 minutes. We have drive-through windows at both locations. We will deliver your prescription free. Our friendly and very experienced pharmacists specialize in consultation, and we are locally owned and have been a loyal part of your community for over 70 years. Just make one phone call to us, and we'll make the transfer so we can start taking care of you.
Well, welcome back. This is James Galliard, pastor at Word Tabernacle Church, along with my best friend, my partner in the community, Bishop Shelton Daniel at Greater Joy Church, and Jean Kitchen, who just makes sure that we stay out in front of you guys and sharing about what's going on in the community. So thank you for joining us. We were talking a little bit at break about the Christian Community Development Association and the meeting that we just attended was actually in Raleigh. This is a national organization that has existed for some 30 years now. This is the 25th year of their national convention. So some time ago, we brought Noel Castellanos here to Rocky Mount at the Gateway to introduce to us the concepts of Christian community development so that we could form a coalition of churches, faith-based entities that could really be partners as it related to social justice issues, things that we would not address doctrinal and theological issues. That was not the point. Right. But can we get together around issues of housing, around issues of employment, around issues of food distribution and education, and what are the best models and practices, healthcare, delivery, things like that. So we introduced the model to the Rocky Mount community. A large group of us attended the conference in Raleigh. I actually had a chance to keynote along on a panel discussion the final day of the conference, which was amazing because it was about 3,000 people at the conference, literally from every state in the nation and several foreign countries. But what it did was it really put Rocky Mount on the platform, so to speak, because we had such good representation. So what we're going to do in terms of next steps is we're going to begin a regional coalition. And so we've already gotten the initial pastors together some months back. And I know sometimes people wonder, man, why does it take so long? But when you're putting together a complex organization that's going to address complex issues, it does take time because you want to form it right, you want to structure it right. And so now we've got the proper training through Noel, we've got the good exposure through the national conference, and now the summer months are over, and then we can begin bringing people back together so that we can begin rolling out some flagship programs. My gut feeling is some of that will be around low-income housing, helping to address the homeless issue here, and addressing issues around employment for 16 to 28-year-olds, because that's that group that really have a heart. Their unemployment numbers are so much higher than other people's. And then there'll be some other programs that we roll out as well. And then we want to partner with local churches who are doing great programs so that other churches don't have to go and duplicate it, but that we can resource it and then let each church kind of become its own specialty church in some area. We don't need 20 churches doing GD programs. We really don't. We do need 4 or 5 doing them very, very well. And then we need to resource that program. And you can probably think of 20 more programs like that we need to do in order to make our community stronger. So that's pretty much what the next several months is going to look like. And then we hope we'll get enough ground under us so that in the beginning of the year, we're really pushing this thing really hard. And we're going to be ready in 2015. Our church is actually going to introduce a 10-year strategic plan around the concept of what we call thriving. How do we help the community and individuals to thrive right where they are? How do we help families to thrive and individuals and businesses? And we're going to be introducing a 10-year strategic plan over the next couple of months once we move, so that we can make sure that we're a major catalyst in that movement.
And you plan to dedicate space in your new facility, in New Word Tabernacle. In fact, it was Word Tabernacle Plaza. Is that what I saw you calling or something?
Actually, it's funny you say that. We just submitted the name change, so we know it's a whole bunch of places that has to go through. But we know Tabernacle's so long, and that would be hard to kind of say. So the first choice we put out was Word Way.
Word Way, okay.
And so we'll see what happens. That's the first choice, and then hopefully that will get through with no problem. It is a private street, so I don't really anticipate us having really any issues. When we bought the former Home Depot, part of our property lines are also those streets that go all the way to Hunter Hill and all the way to Highway 301 or Wesleyan. The good side of it is it's a private street that we own. The bad side of it is we have to maintain it. So, there's a trade-off there. But you're right, a section of the property is being housed, the Reach Center and our community development initiatives, and all of our classroom space. There's going to be state-of-the-art classroom space, library, fitness center, cafe, bookstore, game room. We're making all of these areas available to the overall public. So one of the things we're doing, for example, is partnering with parents that homeschool. Because they don't have facilities of a game room or state-of-the-art playground for kids to play in, things like that. But we can make our facility available where those families can come to us. And so we really want to be a great partner in the community with this 102,000 square foot facility. One of the things that I want the community to be mindful of is that our agenda here is not for Word Tabernacle to be some huge, great, big church. We really want to place on the platform for people what happens in the faith community, the significance of the faith community, why churches are important, and we just want to be one of those churches that's important. So we want other churches that may not have the facility we have to be able to come to our facility and hold classes and be able to train people and allow their young people to come. So this is really a city resource for us, a community and regional resource for us, and not just the building of one local church.
Well, one of the things that we're struggling with in the faith-based community is the utilization of our facilities. To have a dinosaur that is only used on Sunday morning or on Wednesday night is ludicrous. So, some of the things that we talk about, especially in what Tabernacle is going to be able to do with this new facility, is the ability to do things other than Sunday morning worship and other than Tuesday night worship or Tuesday noon worship. And because most of the time the churches, and this is no indictment on anyone, including Greater Joel, we have a facility that parts of it is not utilized for anything else but worship. So in the environment that we're trying to work and create now in our partnerships is, let's figure out what else we can add and make this more of a community type operation than just a church on Sunday morning.
What are some of the other churches that are involved or ministers who, because from the very beginning you put together a group of very interested local ministers?
First Baptist, Dennis Darville, Richard Gerald at Metropolitan, of course Shelton and myself, First United Methodist, Good Shepherd, Richard Gerganis and Church on the Rise.
And Jody, I think
Jody, right, at Lakeside. So it's been a great cohort. Garland Jones, and a few others. The names are just, and others have surfaced to say, hey, I want to be a part. Alice Johnson Curl at Trinity. So it's been a great group of people. It's been across denominations, across racial lines, across doctrinal positions in terms of, we've had some very conservative churches and some very liberal churches. First Presbyterian has been a part. Unfortunately, that pastor has moved on, but the church has maintained its commitment to remain a part. And so it's been a great coalition. And I want people to be very, very clear. It is very much an inclusive gathering of people. We simply want to bring people together around the issues of social justice, the issues of how do we really help hurting people in substantive ways. And so how do we address violence? How do we address the employment issue? How do we address low-income housing? How do we address homelessness? How do we address the issue of a fourth grader coming to school and they spent the night in a car? I mean, how do we really address that significantly and holistically as a community? Because it is all of our concerns. And so that's what we want to gather together around. And I have high hopes for it. I believe so strongly in Christian community development and the association and the principles of community development around Christian concept, that beginning in 2015, our church is changing our mission structure. We tithe 10% of our income. We give away 10% of our income to the community and other entities around the country. So, this year we're going to give away somewhere in the neighborhood of $250,000 to agencies around the country and in the community. What we're changing in 2015 is that they have to exist on a Christian community development platform. So even if they're not calling it Christian community development, they have to be able to embrace the principles of it. Because I feel that strongly about it. I'm convinced it is the answer. And for people that are not familiar with my language, when we say Christian community development, we're talking about the holistic presentation of a gospel of salvation alongside a ministry of social justice. And it's not one or the other. It's not get people saved and forget they're hungry. And it's not feed them and forget they don't know Jesus. It's literally alongside integrated ministry. Many churches, I won't say most, many churches do one or the other very well. So they do a great job at feeding people or housing people, but very little spiritual development. Or they do a great job of packing the church and making sure the gospel is proclaimed, and then we have the baptism numbers and the salvation numbers, but then there's no social ministry. This concept is that these entities are integrated, literally come alongside of each other. And I'm convinced that it's the right platform and the right answer.
And Gene, that's the thing that attracted me to this coalition is that it is inclusive, though sometimes it may seem exclusive, because what we are proposing is that things like this need to be led by the faith-based community.
Right.
And see, sometimes that seems a bit exclusive to other areas, but what we're really saying is, do what you do. At this moment, the faith-based leaders, pastors, are going to come together, and we're going to see what we can do to not that what you're doing is not working, but let us be an addition to what's happening. And so that's what attracted me, is that this was really about the faith-based community taking a stab at what we can do to help with things like, which is one of my huge proponents, this homeless situation that we have going on. So that's really what attracted me to it.
Well, I want to thank both of y'all, because Chris Battle, who heads the homeless shelter, both the Bassett Center and United Community Ministries, was in need of a van. Well, he has a van, but he needed a smaller vehicle because the van, 1998, 15-passenger, they were having trouble paying for the gas. And so a number of people decided to help him provide a vehicle, a smaller vehicle, so they could run kids to school, they could go to doctor's appointments, whatnot. And you all both stepped up, your churches, and you stepped up immediately to help make that possible. And it's so reassuring to me to know that y'all are right there practicing what you believe and setting. I mean, we've all got to be the role models. We've got to be the change that we want to see in others by reaching out. And so keep us informed for how, as a community, I think all of us know that we want this community. We love Rocky Mount and surrounding areas, and it's incumbent upon all of us to be a part of that change. So thank you for your leadership.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Trunk or treat. Good luck.
All right.
Thank you. We'll see you next week.